Manchester United are relieved that Gary Pallister, out almost 2 months injured, is back today to help subdue the Premiership's most prolific centre-forward. Alan Shearer, who's scored 123 goals in 161 games as a Blackburn player, but none of them at Old Trafford. Well, Pallister back, but Steve Bruce's deep wound in the forehead keeps him out. So yet another new central defensive pairing for United as David May gets a chance to kick-start his United career. And it's a comeback day too for Jason Wilcox, out almost a year with a cruciate ligament injury. He's had half a dozen games for the reserves and the A-team and replaces the injured Stuart Ripley today. And one other Blackburn change, Scotland's Billy McKinlay comes into midfield for Lars Bohinen, who was injured playing for Norway in midweek. Keith Burge of Tonopandi is the man in charge today. Manchester United have beaten Blackburn in their last 4 meetings. The only team to take 6 points off them last season when Blackburn won the Premiership. And United aiming to do the same this season, having already won 2-1 at Ewood Park in August. Here's Roy Keane for Manchester United. Pursued by Wilcox. And Berg puts it out. United with the throw. Well, there's not perhaps quite the edge to this fixture that there was in previous seasons when they were first and second respectively in the Premiership. Blackburn currently 6th. But it's still an important afternoon for Manchester United. They can't afford any slip-ups if they're to close the gap on Newcastle. Well, there'll be question marks surely about his match fitness, but United were desperate to get him back. Blackburn's only away win in the Premier Division this season came in their last away match at Queen's Park Rangers. Their form otherwise has been very poor. Just 7 points from 12 games away from Ewood Park. Cantona. Well won by Henning Berg, and with 3 red shirts waiting, he needed to win it. There's Kevin Gallagher, another one whose career has been on hold because of injury. Shearer. Off his forehead. That's his first half attempt at a strike. Really is a lethal marksman, Shearer. He has scored 3 times against Manchester United, but all of those goals have come at Ewood Park. Here's Beckham. Keane just checking who was behind him. David May. Very good ball. Hendry won it well. Owen. Pass to the other fullback. They play a little bit more as wing-backs. Cole wants to tee it up for Cantona. It didn't sit down for him. Cole receiving the ball with his back to goal. Cantona was the obvious outlet. The Frenchman might have liked it with a little bit less bounce. Ray Harford. Whistle goes, free kick. Cole, Cantona tries to play it back to him. He's got the beating of Hendry. Here's Cole. It's hit the post. Sharpe. Yes. Cole nearly did, but not quite. Sharpe completed it. Well, it's a goal in a way which sums up Andy Cole's form at Manchester United. He has got 21 goals in 45 appearances, but it could have been so many more, but for misses like that one. Once he got inside Hendry, he always had the beating of the centre-half. The woodwork denied him. And that's a very clean return from Lee Sharpe for his 4th goal of the season. Shearer won it. Newell tries to get on the loose ball. Newell there! Oh, that was a bit stupid by Matt Newell. It's a name in a yellow book, I think. Perhaps just a sign of how much players get wound up for this fixture. It was a half-decent chance that fell to him. He hit it straight at Schmeichel, who plucked it down from above his head, but then the follow-through on the keeper was quite unnecessary. Giggs. Over the top for Cantona. And when he got to it, well, the two defenders were surely favourite, particularly Kenner. Just a little dink ball over the top that turned the defence, and Kenner didn't want to play it out. Alec Ferguson, in his 10th season at Old Trafford, 6 major trophies in the sideboard, following the 9 that he won at Aberdeen. And now Henningberg. And Palace had just stayed with him, maybe short. Well, it was short. Shearer got the first touch to it. And the clearance went out to Gallagher, who knocked it back. Well, Schmeichel had regained his line, but that back pass by Gary Pallister showed perhaps the touch of a rusty player, because Shearer was always going to get there first. And Schmeichel very fortunate that he was able to claim it. Cantona. Here's Keane. Off the forehead of Lee Sharpe. Coleman. Ooh, nearly fell for Cantona. Here's Irwin. That's a good strike! He just had that extra second, Tim Flowers, to steady himself. Otherwise he was beaten. Well, Dennis Irwin playing at right back today. He's normally the left back. That's it with his left foot. He's just as good with either of them. And that little shuffle of the feet just gave Flowers the foundation he needed. Here's Lee Sharpe. Trying to jink it over the top as the whistle goes for half-time. Not quite the fire and brimstone of previous clashes between these two sides. Just the goal from Lee Sharpe after 15 minutes, after Andy Cole had hit the foot of the post. So far so good for Manchester United, but at 1-0 you definitely feel the points aren't yet safe. It's 14 months and 23 matches since Manchester United were beaten at home in a league game. And you do feel that Blackburn will have to do a lot more in this second half if they are to threaten that record. Well, it's 42,681 in the crowd, the biggest of the season in the Premiership. Only 1,300 of them supporting Blackburn. Here's Kenner. Keane. Beckham. Andy Cole. It's Lee Sharpe. That's Cantona. And now Beckham. To the back post. Cole! Well, you don't want to pile the pressure onto Andy Cole's shoulders, but somehow you do feel that there's an absolute goldmine of goals there somewhere, and they just never quite arrive. Everything was perfect. A diving header, just brushed his forehead. This is McKinley. Kenner. An opportunity for Blackburn here, perhaps, to deliver a good ball. Well, there seemed to be, but now it's gone, and here comes Beckham. Oh, Dennis Irwin's continued his run. Cole, another chance for him. It almost squirmed away from Tim Flowers. Well, he did better with that one, perhaps, than the two earlier chances. took it away from Hendry to give himself a sight of goal. There was quite a bit of pace on it. Flowers was well positioned. But I wonder if it's unkind to Andy Cole to suggest that if those two earlier chances had fallen to Alan Shearer, that he would have tucked them away. Cole, Kenner just managed to redirect it with his toe. But there's a new zip about Manchester United in the second half, and I wonder if they've had a bit of a verbal stinging from Alex Ferguson in the first half about not killing the game off. Irwin, Keane, he tried to let it run to Giggs, but Sherwood had anticipated. Now Alan Shearer. May back to Schmeichel. Oh, and Shearer carried on right through into Schmeichel. And Schmeichel's injured, and the linesman has seen it because he's put his flag up. And now what happens here? Well, it's a yellow card for Shearer. And he may, in my estimation, he's very lucky, because he carried on right through with his studs showing, and he clattered Schmeichel, and the linesman saw it, and the referee did as well. Well, he's already unpopular with the Old Trafford crowd, and that's done very little for him. Look, he studs her up, and he hits Schmeichel on the right knee. I think he's rather fortunate to stay on the field. Hendry looked to be climbing on Andy Cole. Yes, free kick. Hendry suggesting that Cole hadn't got off the ground, which made it difficult for him to do anything other than come over the top. Giggs. Asked a lot of Lee Sharpe. Well, the capacity at Old Trafford now just under 43,000, and when the second tier of the new stand opens, hopefully next month, it will be up to almost 50,000. The third tier, the final one, should be open by the end of the season, which will give a capacity of 55,000. Bettered only by Wembley. These two teams haven't quite graced this wonderful new stadium with an epic match this afternoon, but it's still finely balanced. Manchester United just the one goal to the good. And Blackburn's form improved considerably since they suffered that 5-0 thrashing at the hands of Coventry in December. Here's Sharpe, here's Giggs. Now there's four to look for. Sharpe just toe-poked it. It won't come, the second goal, and will Manchester United yet live to rue it? Well, maybe if he'd left it, it would have been better, because there were other players better positioned than Lee Sharpe. Perhaps he wasn't to know that. Henningberg. Here's Hendry. McKinley, Sherwood and Kenner. Shearer. Out by Philip Neville. And back by Nicky Marker. That's awkward. Over the top by May. Oh! It was a good strike by Goodmanson. It's a threat to Manchester United. It's a little warning and a reminder. They've still got to play out these last few minutes if the 3 points are to be secured. May trying to play it over his head. And the on-loan Swede, well, he hit it really well. It was hard, it was firm. But from Blackburn's point of view, it was disappointingly high. Lee Sharpe's goal in the 15th minute. The only one that separates the sides. But for the heroics, perhaps, of Colin Hendry, who really has been outstanding. Interesting that in the summer, when Scotland play England in the European Championship, Colin Hendry likely to be pitted against his centre-forward colleague Alan Shearer. But it's an afternoon at Old Trafford when the result is more important than the performance for Manchester United. 3 points in the bag to maintain the pressure, they hope, on Newcastle. No doubt that that's a fair reflection on the game. Sharpe very quick to knock in the ball when it came back off the foot of the post after Andy Cole had almost scored. But they had other chances. It could have been more. In the end, it's just the one. But it's the victory that they wanted. Manchester United 1, Blackburn 0. Ali, what's your assessment of Manchester United's performance today?
I thought collectively we put on a really good team performance. I think that some of the football was great at times. We showed good composure on our football, particularly in the second half. And as we're always finding is Blackburn, they're a real dogged, determined team. They're very difficult to beat, very difficult to play against. But I think we deserved the result.
Yeah, I was obviously a little bit nervous before the game because I've only played one game in 10 weeks and you know, I've not had a chance to get any matches under my belt as I would have liked. But I was reasonably pleased. I think I can still sharpen up a bit, you know, but that was to be expected after so long out.
How do you explain the difference in Blackburn's form? At home you're invincible, away from home in the Premier League you're struggling to pick up points.
Yeah, well, early on in the season we were struggling away from home, and we've got a bit better. I mean, you can't really count today because it's all, no matter where you are in the league, it's going to be difficult to come to Old Trafford and win. But you know, saying that, we are very disappointed that we never got anything out of the game, but perhaps United deserve to win.
Blackburn first, they look pretty sterile today.
Yeah.